In my last video, I mentioned that we haven't gotten a real map since 2022. However, the most recently added map to the game was in April of this year. So why didn't I consider it one? Well, in that video, I mentioned that this map was a science experiment, and to understand why that is, we need to look at the map itself first. This is Containers O Fun, which was added in the 8.0.1 April Fool's update alongside the Stoner 96 and 3 other weapons, 3 new game modes that were extremely well received, a bunch of old core maps, and some other silly features consistent with, well, the Phantom Forces April Fool's update. And I'll be honest, I actually thought Containers was an April Fool's map, so it was a genuine shock to me when all the April Fool's funnies went away 2 days later. But Containers stayed in the main game, where it still is to this day. Containers O Fun's layout is intentionally modeled after that of Shipment from Call of Duty, and as a result of being balanced around 6v6 multiplayer, it is by far the smallest map in the game. You could literally fit like 25 copies of this map inside of Highway Lot's playable area. This map is also incredibly difficult to spawn trap, not in spite of its size, but because of it. It's so chaotic that the spawns for each team aren't inherently tied to a specific part of the map. Instead, you just spawn in the one place in the entire map at that time where there are no enemies. This can be on top of a crate, right next to the hill, directly in front of the enemy flag on CTF, or basically anywhere else on the map. This makes the spawns on this map safer than a map like Metro that spawns you in the same tiny part of the map every time if you're on Phantoms, but it's also pretty annoying if you're actually trying to play the game. Despite this is still a very easy map to drop high kill games on. I even hit one while recording the gameplay footage for this video. Your KDR will inevitably tank as a result, but you won't get nearly as many engagements on any other map. And to be honest, that makes it boring. Hitting hundreds on other maps is exciting. You actually feel like you've earned it. Here, you just run around shooting people at close range. There's no struggle, even if you die a lot in the process. With all this information taken into consideration, should this map be added into Phantom Forces? Of course not. Anyone, no matter what rank they are, can see that this map is entirely unfit for PF server size. To be honest, I have no idea how the hell this map made it into the game in the first place, but it's here and we have to deal with it. So, what kind of engagements should you expect here? Well, you spawn, walk into the central area of the map, and immediately get blasted by a shotgun. If you're using a shotgun yourself, you might be the one doing the blasting. This map is just shotguns and nothing else. You can try to use a PDW or an assault rifle, and you may see varying levels of success, but it'll all go out the window once someone pulls up with one of these, or God forbid, one of these. This map is dominated by shotguns, and you shouldn't expect anything less. It's shotguns as far as the eye can see, and I have a theory that this was done on purpose. And it's why I believe that Containers is not much of an actual playable map as much as it is a science experiment that exposes the massive flaws in Phantom Forces' balancing. Let's talk about shotguns for a second. What strategy should you employ when going up against a shotgun? Well, if you said that you should flank them and attack them when you're out of their range, then congratulations, you're an idiot. Any shotgun user knows not to challenge someone past 100 studs. That's why everyone who uses a shotgun stays in closed-off hallways where long-range engagements won't happen. It's common sense, but on maps like Containers, close-range engagements are completely forced. It's impossible to escape shotguns. What this map also proves is that shotguns don't require skill at all, and this is by far the biggest balancing failure when it comes to shotguns. They do lots of damage per pellet and have wide spread. You don't need to have careful, precise shots to use a shotgun. Aim in the general direction of your enemy, and you'll get a kill if they're within 70 studs. And if they don't die right away, shoot them again and it's lights out. What I'm saying is that shotguns as a whole need to be reimagined so that they require precision to use up close, similar to snipers at long range. Here's how I would go about doing that. First off, take the spread of every shotgun and drastically reduce it. Then, take the damage per pellet of every shotgun and reduce it drastically as well. Crank up the multipliers too so that headshots are properly rewarded. Then, take the recoil of every shotgun except the AA-12 and double it. That's right, double it. The 12 gauge is a very powerful round, and it should feel like it. Don't even change the recoil recovery speed at all. Finally, reduce the fire rate of the Saiga-12, the USAS-12, and the DBV-12 by 50 RPM, revert the SPAS-12's fire rate back to its original value of 180, revert the reload speed buffs given to the Saiga-12, and give the USAS a longer reload as well. And here's a big one. You see this ammo type right here. Remove it entirely, send it to Brazil. All it does is take the horrible playstyle that shotguns encourage and amplify it to a frustrating degree. Birdshot has absolutely no place in Phantom Forces. By reducing the spread of shotguns while overall retaining or slightly increasing their effective range, we've made them a far more fair and skillful weapon class. And once we've done that, we can go back to Containers 0 Fun and take it out of the main game for good. Containers is an objectively horrible map. It just is, there's no getting around that. Phantom Forces' servers are far too big to support a map like Containers. But as awful as this map is, I'm really glad it was added. It's provided important insight into Phantom Forces balancing at a time where it is very much needed. We've been able to identify all of the balancing issues with PF shotguns and figure out ways to address them once and for all, and it's all thanks to this map. Once the attention of stylists is brought to these issues and they are properly dealt with, there will no longer be a reason for Containers to exist in PF. It's not a map that will ever work with PF's mechanics and balancing, but its addition to PF will have been very healthy for the game long term, and allows stylists to finally fix the most broken weapon class in the history of the game. So, with that all being said, thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.